Good morning, everyone. This is Lisa, founder and executive director here at Hope Grows. I'm here today to talk a little bit about my favorite thing is a labyrinth. And I know if you were at our Celebrating You event last October, we had a table there during our self-care showcase that we talked about some crystals, and we also had some labyrinths, some small labyrinths on display. And there seemed to be quite an interest. So I thought maybe I'd record, just a short video here talking about what a labyrinth is and the benefits of using a labyrinth. So where do these labyrinths come from? Well, archaeological findings date labyrinths back to the Bronze Age, like 4,000 years ago. And there's several different designs, but basically there's a simple 7-circuit design that began showing up in Europe, the Middle East, and parts of Asia as, carvings and drawings of clay tablets and stone walls and coins displayed these beautiful things. I got interested in using a labyrinth when I was working in hospice. I started to read up a little bit more about it and learned a little bit about how to use a labyrinth in working with individuals who were facing a terminal illness. And I found it to be really fascinating, and I had given a presentation to the executive director of the hospice at the time about, what is a labyrinth and how do we use them and what the benefits are. And he was sold. He said, go ahead and get one and, start using it. So what I'm holding today is the one that I had actually purchased while I was working in hospice. And this is a double labyrinth, and it's called an Intuipath. And what you can do is you can use it simultaneously with your right and left fingers, or you can use it across, in working with somebody. I would use one side and the person I was, talking with would use the other side of this. So, but let's, before we go into like what this is called a finger labyrinth, let's talk about the ones maybe that you might be familiar with. And that is the ones that we see, in churches on the floor, big ones where you walk through them. So, I guess in this country during the 1970s is when labyrinths made a comeback, there was a renewed interest regarding them. And, and now they can be found, quite a few places. I know here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, we have, I can think of 4 places that have floor labyrinths. One is the East Liberty Presbyterian Church, I believe. One is at Chatham University. There's another one out in the north. I'm trying to think, off of McKnight Road. I can't think of the place's name right now, but there are several. I'm sure, if we Google labyrinths in Pittsburgh, PA, you'll probably find where they're located. One of the goals here at Hope Grows at the Iris Respite House is to be able to put a labyrinth in the back of the property behind the house, for people to use. A walking labyrinth is what we're looking to put in someday. So hopefully that becomes a reality, sooner than later. But yeah, so let's just talk about the purpose of a labyrinth. People think of a labyrinth as a maze, and I want to point out that it is not a maze. It's not meant, mazes are meant to trick our minds, right? And a labyrinth is not meant to trick our mind. A labyrinth is meant to calm our minds. And it's a journey. There's one way in, and there's the same way back out. And it's about the journey, not the end destination of it. And so a lot of times I tell people, if you're using a labyrinth for the first time, think of something that you need clarity with in your life, or something that spiritually that you maybe need to restore faith with, or maybe even hope, or anything in that arena. You can sort of put that intention out there. And before you go in, you want to maybe take a few deep breaths, close your eyes, maybe say a prayer, or an affirmation, or some type of a mantra, and then work your way into the labyrinth. And then when you get to the center, stay there and just be still. You can be still, or you can continue to just kind of walk in a small, slow, steady pace around the center of the labyrinth, and just see intuitively what's coming to you. in your heart or your mind or even in your body? Are you feeling it somewhere in your body? And then when you feel the time is right, then you start to work your way out. I love the concept of how these finger labyrinths came to be, because one, not everybody has access to get to a place that has a big labyrinth in the ground or on the floor of a church. And, and these just allow you to have them at your fingertips. This obviously is rather big. I remember, walking into the different facilities of the places that I would frequent, with people on hospice, and of course heads were drawn, wondering, oh, here comes that lady again with that big wooden thing. But yeah, so it's but there are other smaller ones. There's these small ones right here that come with a stylus, and you work your way in with the stylus, not your finger, because your finger's too big for the carvings of this. So, there's that one, and I'll talk about what types of labyrinths they are. I have 3 different ones here I want to show you. So the first one is the Chartreuse. It's, it came to be, during the 13th century. It was an inlaid part of the floor of the Chartres Cathedral. I'm sorry, I can't talk this morning, in France. And it was adopted by the church during the Middle Age as a substitute for physical pilgrimage with early Christians, and how they made it to Jerusalem. So the circuits in center may represent the 12 apostles. There are 113 teeth known as lunations, which adorn the outside of the pattern. And many believe the ancients used these lunations as a sundial in order to determine the lunar feast of Easter. So this is one of my favorite labyrinths. I love the circuits that are in here. And again, it's one way in, and you follow the path till you get to the center, and then you work your way back out, and then you end up coming back out, of the same place here. So a paper one works just as well. If you don't have access to be able to order one, you can download and print free of charge at this place where I got these, and that's called relax4life.com. So RELAX for the number 4 life, LIFE.com. And this is where I got these small ones, and this is where I got this larger one as well. It's great. A paper one works just the same. So you would just download it, print it, and then you could use your finger and trace along the paper one. So this one, like I said, this one is my favorite. This is the Chartreuse. I love being able to just, go into the labyrinth with just a mantra or an affirmation of something that intuitively I want to, have some, just intuitively feel about a certain situation or an issue or just an enlightenment that I might want. And again, you just take the stylus and you follow along. Okay, so the next one that I want to show you is this one is called the Cretan. It's a classical 7 circuit. So the detail is quite a bit smaller, or less intricate, I should say. And this also dates back to 4,000 years, and it is the oldest and most widely used pattern in the world. And its name was derived from an early representation of the Owl of Crete. So it's referred to the classical 7 circuit design and can be used as a template for the 7 major energy centers of the physical body. So thinking of, if you've ever heard about the chakras, we have 7 energy points in our aligned in our body, and this it represents that. This one is greatly used for helping effectively with those with dyslexia, with ADHD, and any neurological disorders. You can also download this one as well from that same site that I gave you earlier, and that's relax4life.com. And it's the same, you use it the same way. You enter and you just, trace the pattern with your stylus all the the way through. Until you get to the center. And then I'm in the center. And again, you can just stay still in there. You can use the stylus and just, slowly, make the circle in the center. And when you feel ready, you would just work your way back out. I mean, you could close your eyes and do this. You would have to go, obviously, I'm moving along rather quickly right now, but you can go slower. And you can also, close your eyes while you're doing that, and then you'd work your way out. Okay, so that's that one. That's called the Cretan or the Classical 7 Circuit. The last one that I'm going to show you is the Eli. And this is unique labyrinth pattern that was at the Ely Cathedral in England during a restoration in 1870. The cathedral's west tower is 215 feet tall. Interestingly, the labyrinth that is inlaid in the floor beneath the tower has a path that is 215 feet long from the entrance to the center and back out again. The symmetry between the height of the tower and the length of the labyrinth path is a wonderful example of sacred geometry and architecture. Also, this design has nearly as long a path as the Chartres pattern, but the design itself is more compact, with the user meandering through various geometric shapes. This benefits both designer and user by having a long, introspective path in a smaller overall space. So this one I'm not a real fan of, and I'm not sure why. Just, I think it's more about the geometric shapes and the pattern that it has. I prefer, the more rounder pattern, but this one, it works nice as well. You can download and print this one also free of charge from relaxforlife.com as well. I think to buy the set of these 3, it might be around $40 some. I'm not exactly sure, but they're nice. They come with a book. They come with all 3 with 3 stylus, and each one has a bag. I really like relaxforlife.com's site. I like, everything about that company. And I just think that it's a good value from what I've seen out there. So yeah, so let's talk a little bit now about the double labyrinth. It's called an intuipath. You can use this by yourself, like I said, simultaneously together with, both right and left finger going in both sides. I know it's kind of hard to see, but you would, this side you're over here, and then this side you're over here, and you would, put it on a table or your lap. You could close your eyes, and you could just, follow the path. You follow the path with both hands going at the same time. The benefit in doing that is that, we have brain waves, right? So our beta brain waves are what we use constantly in our day-to-day living. That's what causes us to get up and do all of the tasks of daily living, right? So brushing our teeth, we always do all these things, going on the computer, getting in our car, going to the store, making lists, shopping, all these things uses our beta brain waves. Well, our beta brain waves get tired, right? And we need to relax them. And this is really good for stress reduction. So when you use both fingers at the same time in this intuipath, it actually reduces the stress to the beta brain waves, and it increases our alpha and our theta brain waves at the same time, which then creates this place of relaxation. It also creates this place of creativity. It increases our creativity. And I'm just reading here now, there's quite a few things that it does help with. Again, this can help with children that are diagnosed with ADHD because it calms the mind. It can be a great, wonderful tool in someone's daily meditation and their mindful practice. And, I'm trying to think of all the other things that it does to help relax. Let me see. Where do I see? I just had this earlier today when I was looking at all this to offer for you. Here we go. It's greater relaxation, problem solving, and intuition. It helps with stress reduction, as I said, and overall, it can increase creativity. It can help with brainstorming. It can be used in a coworker situation. It can be used in counseling. It can be used with a caregiver and their care receiver. I mean, this could be really great for those struggling with, many different neurological issues, like I had said before. Overall, the labyrinths are just a really good mindful activity that can be used on a daily basis and in your own home. Again, you don't have to actually purchase these. You can download them from the site that I mentioned and just actually use your finger on a paper. I just like this because I don't know, they're just fun. They're fun to have, and they're easy to carry around wherever you want to go. So I don't know. I hope today was a little enlightening about something different to use to help with, coping and stress management and just stress reduction, and just to have that overall, more positive outlook in our day-to-day living. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me here at Hope Grows. I'm always here to be able to answer. I might not be able to get back to you for a couple of days. We have just, exponentially grown in the amount of people that we're supporting and helping, but please know that we're here for you along your caregiver journey. And I appreciate the time today that you spent with me learning about labyrinths. All right, take care. Bye-bye.